Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and I can't begin to tell you how glad I am to be back. It was a great opportunity for my wife and I to travel across Western America and visit different sites, but it's always good to be back here in Chautauqua County, and boy, I really appreciate all the wonderful things that we have here. But on the other hand, if you haven't wandered outside of New York State or Pennsylvania, Ohio area, I got to tell you folks, we talk about America and all the terrible things that are going on and all this other nonsense. America is awesome. If you haven't been out west and seen the vistas of the snow-capped mountains and the desert areas and the prairies and meet the people, gosh, friendly, more than happy to help you out in any way they could. Just a great trip, and I'm not going to tell you too much more about my trip because I'm going to be writing up the highlights of it in my column this month in Silver Magazine, my column from out of the West, and it'll be part 2 to my travel log. But it was a great trip, and I want to thank Jeff Zook and Randy Burt for covering for me. They did a great job, and we have a lot of fun here, and I'm so glad that you could join us today. I was looking back at the last set of shows for April, and the topics were poetry. Folks came in and talked about their churches. We had a show on cooking. And we had a show on, what does that say? Cycling, bicycling. What do they all have in common? They all have passion for what they do. We guys here at the station, I think we have a passion for the same types of things, is that we want to share with you all the good stuff here in Chautauqua County, and we want to bring our passion to you to get that information out through this media, and also through our good friends at WRFA 107.9, low power to the people, and on Tuesdays it's at 1 o'clock, and today's show fits the same bill. We've got guests coming up here from Veteran Services of Chautauqua County, and they've got passion for what they do, and we're going to get to them in a little while. So please stick around. Don't go too far. Or if you got to go, you got some options. You can watch us again throughout the week at 2 and 8 o'clock here on Access 5. You can watch us on YouTube. And I'm very excited to tell you that while I was gone, I was tabulating how many views we've had on YouTube for the show. Now, our show's only 3 years old. We only broadcast 1 hour a week, and we have over 9,000 views of the show now. That's pretty darn cool. So we're going to be breaking 10,000 here pretty quick, which tells me that what we're doing is important and people want to see what we're doing. And we're like a reference library. You can go back and look at all the shows that we've done, and if you want to learn more about that the cooking show, you can go back and look at it. If you want to learn more about cycling with the Zook boys and what was his name? Mark Wilson. That's right. I wasn't here, so I don't remember. Mark Wilson from last week. You go back and learn more about those kinds of things. And today's show is going to be along the same lines. If we talk about something you forget, go right to YouTube, put in the date, Chautauqua Sunrise, put in the date of the show or whatever, and it'll pop up for you and you can have a listen. So anyways, thanks for supporting us through your views and comments. We get things in the email all the time about things that you'd like us to share here on the show. And I think you popped that up a bit ago, Jeff, but if you do have something that you want to share with us, an announcement for your club or organization, you can call us at 753-5225 today between 9 and 10 live, and we'll talk with you. If you're shy, just talk to whoever picks up the phone. They'll get the information. They'll tweet it to me or they'll bring it in here to the studio and we'll announce it for you. You can email us, you can Twitter us, you can go to our Facebook account, Chautauqua Sunrise, all one word. You can get to us. So please do share your information with us. We're happy to do that. So I'm back and we got some announcements and we're going to get right into it, and then we're going to get to our guest here in a little bit. So stay tuned. Okay. Our friends at Infinity over in Jamestown have fashion classes, and they're going to be collaborating with the Chautauqua Mall event. This is a new one. I don't remember this one. This is going to be Monday, May 22nd, so mark your calendars. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center, located in downtown Jamestown, will be hosting 2 fashion design classes to collaborate with Chautauqua Mall's Recycle the Runway live event. That'll be a lot of fun. Fashion is art, and these classes will be held on Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Infinity Center. Class will be held starting Monday, April 17th, which is already happening, through May 22nd. Recycle the Runway classes will be held on Wednesdays from April 19th to the 31st from 4 to 5 p.m. So 2 different classes. Fashion is art, and then the runway class. Students will learn how to design clothing, create patterns, and design their own pieces. They also use old textiles to recycle or upcycle materials into brand new designs. Sometimes my wife and I will watch that Project Runway, and they'll send all their designers out to some place like a swimming pool, and the people got to grab whatever they see at the swimming pool, and they got to bring it back and make it into a shirt or a dress or something, and they use plastics and all kinds of stuff. So it's a fun thing and creative. Okay, students will participate in the Recycle the Runway Live at Chautauqua Mall on June 4th. It's a Sunday. If you're interested, give them a call at 664-0991. Okay, and we'll have more things about Infinity as the months go by, as always. Okay, a couple things from the Safety Village, Children's Safety Education Village down the road in Asheville. They want you to remember that they offer, especially this summertime, think about it now, babysitting course. If you've got a young person in your household that's 12 years on up and they're interested in babysitting and getting certified, they get some CPR stuff and they get some training in how to deal with children. Boy, some of our babysitters, they could have used that course. My kids were kind of wild. Anyways, they do babysitting courses. They also do women's self-defense through American Karate. They offer first aid, CPR, and AED through the American Heart Association for the kids and also adults. And they're prepared to come out to your club or organization or business and offer to do that. And just give them a call and they'll give you some pricing on all that sort of thing, and it's a good thing. In order to do all the things that they do at the Safety Village, they often have these fun activities that are fundraisers. And this year, on Saturday, May 20th, there's going to be a co-ed softball and cornhole hit 'em, bag 'em. I just read these things, I don't write these. The Children's Safety Education Village is holding a double elimination co-ed softball tournament and cornhole tournament. It's going to be at Birdman Park on May 20th. It's going to start at 8 a.m. The cost is $20 per player, unlimited roster, 10 players on the field, minimum 4 women per team, playing on the field at all times. Must be 16 years of age and older to play. Anyone under the age of 18 must have parental consent. There's a 14-team limit for softball tournament. All games will start with one-on-one count. I don't know what that means, but that's what they do. $40 per cornhole team, 2-player teams. Register by May 5th coming up. Food and refreshments will be sold. Guys, if you're interested, this is a fun time. Give them a call at 338-0170 or contact Terry Kinberg, the director, at tkinberg@hotmail.com. All right, let's go over to Westfield, to the Grape Discovery Center. The Grape Discovery Center is seeking volunteers for the busy spring and summer fall seasons coming up. They're putting things into high gear right now. I can see that when I drive by there. There are many areas that they need coverage during busy days, events, and bus tours. People from around the country come, and actually the world, because they're on these bus tours and they get off, and that's now becoming a local site to check out. They need people to greet visitors, help in the retail area, maintenance, gardening, wine bar attendant, answering the phone, and taking messages. They need help spreading the word about upcoming events. So if you're interested, it's lots of fun. It's a beautiful venue, great location. The Grape Discovery Center over on Route 20 between Westfield and Ripley. Give Christina McCain a call, 326-2003, or go to or contact her, manager@grapediscoverycenter, all one word, .com. Okay. Also, let's go up to Dunkirk. Northern Chautauqua County Community Foundation grants and scholarships. The foundation has many grants and scholarships available. If you're a senior in high school right now, you definitely should be talking to your guidance counselor and see if you're eligible for any scholarships that the foundation has available. They have money that they don't give away because nobody applies for, or sometimes they don't have anybody eligible because they didn't know the requirements. So check it out, because there's various scholarships and grants that are very specific to various organizations, church groups, veteran services, Masonic groups, auxiliaries, and so forth. So you'd be surprised. You might be able to get some money to help you for college. Community grants and college scholarships are available for people interested in a variety of fields for study. For more information, go to nccfoundation.org. Okay, page 2. They also want you to know that on May 5th, they're having a grant writing workshop. Okay. The foundation, in partnership with Paul Benson of SUNY Fredonia, the Office of Sponsored Programs, is offering a grant writing workshop on Thursday, May 11th, from 2 to 3:30. The training will be held at the Fredonia Technology Incubator, located at 214 Central Avenue in Dunkirk. I got to tell you that writing a grant can be a lot of fun, and it's also going to be a lot of work. And knowing Paul is very articulate. He's a very intelligent guy, and he has been writing grants for a long time, 23 years according to this. And he can give you some real good tips on how to write a grant successfully and get the money for your club or organization or business. There's business grants out there. So if you're interested, give them a call at 366-4892, and registration is required prior to that, May 11th. They want you registered by May 5. The space is limited. Okay? I got an announcement about Veterans Benefits Workshop, but I'm not going to talk about that because we're going to talk about that shortly, so I don't want to even go there. So let's skip to Westfield. Back to Westfield. Free parenting class offered in Westfield. This is a new one that just came through the other day. Okay, that's this coming Thursday, May 4th. Consists of 6 different sessions lasting 2 hours in length. Oh, it starts on May 4th and it goes through 6 different weeks. Okay, so here we go. It's 2 hours in length, and it's going to be in the daycare room, and refreshments are provided by the YWCA. It's from 5:30 to 7:30, and it's going to go May 4, 11, 25, June 1, 8, and 15. This is a video-based interactive program teaching parents how to raise responsible and cooperative children. The program also includes alcohol and other drug prevention. I had to say that quickly because it sounded like they were going to serve alcohol, so I had to say includes alcohol and other drug prevention, bullying, and violence and peer influences. If you are interested to register, call 326-4012. The training is provided by my friends over at CASIC, United Way, and the Westfield YWCA. There's the poster for you. Now, you might say, I don't need this. I was raised fine. I can raise my kids fine. There might be something that you could garner from this. I know that I've worked with parents over the years, and sometimes we cover a topic that is a little touchy. For instance, bullying. Our parents don't know how to handle bullying. And maybe telling your kid to go over there and clean the other kid's clock may not be the right way to do it. So there might be some other options that you might consider. Okay, 2 more announcements real quick. Over in Westfield again, the 2017 Vintage Book and Paper Show and Sale is going to be held May 6th at Easton Hall. That's over at 23 Elm Street in Westfield, and it's going to be held from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Let's see here. Anyone interested in signing up as a dealer should give, hang on, I get the name here. It just says Johnston, so I think that's Bob Johnson. Call at 338-5051. Admission is $5, students $3, children under 12, admitted free when accompanied by an adult. All proceeds, of course, go to benefit the Chautauqua County Historical Society. For more information, give them a call, 326-2977. So anything paper, books, posters, you name it, it's there, and it's going to be really fun, and they've been doing this for a long time. So lots of fun. Check it out. And last but not least, this is an important one. This definitely came in, I think it was late last night. There's going to be a Center for Elder Law and Justice. Elder Law and Justice, okay, is a new office. And they want us to know that there's going to be something going on May 20th. It's going to be free legal services for seniors. Now, in the past, my good friend and our colleague who's now passed is Reed Powers would have a lot of topics on elder abuse and elder care. Jim Subject used to come on and talk about these things, and we've talked about this on my show as well, but this is a big deal. So check this out. Again, let me say it again, May 20th, 314 Central Avenue, Suite 201 in Dunkirk. Walk-ins are available from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. All right. It provides free assistance for health insurances, foreclosures, consumer protection, non-eviction tenant disputes, nursing home rights, Social Security issues, elder abuse prevention, and healthcare proxies. For more information, call 261-3275. Income and age restrictions may apply. So, seniors, if you're having some issues, check it out. That is a new place called the Center for Elder Law and Justice. All right, I'm going to stop right now. We're going to take a second here to have a public service announcement, and we're going to be right back, so stay tuned.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us.
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
And we're back. Still Doc Hamels, and you watch a Chautauqua Sunrise. Remember, this is a call-in show, and if you have a question for my guest or myself or an announcement, give us a call, 753-5225. Okay, I mentioned passion earlier, and the folks on the show today definitely have passion for what they do. Not only because of their backgrounds from what they did for a living, but now as they carry on to the next phases of their lives to support veterans. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick little story, though, before I introduce them and welcome them back, is that I was telling them prior to the show that my family, we've got 3 generations of veterans in our family. I've mentioned this before. My father, he's a veteran of World War II, and my father-in-law, my dad was in Europe, my father-in-law was in the Pacific Theater. Then I had my brother-in-law, he was in Vietnam, and then my son presently serves in the Army all over the world. He's everywhere. So we've got folks that are involved with the veterans, and so it's part of my passion to support them through my show. We have the veterans come on at least twice a year, and sometimes they sneak in because they have some special announcements like they did a few weeks ago. But today we're going to be dedicating specifically to veteran services here in Chautauqua County. And I want to welcome back Greg Carlson, the director, and you're going to introduce your new sidekick here.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us on the show.
Absolutely.
So we had the great privilege of receiving a grant from New York State. Senator Young was instrumental in helping us get this grant to establish the private first-class Dwyer Fund. And we had to find just the right person to be the program coordinator. So we advertised it out there, and I heard this name from various sources that this person would be excellent. And sure enough, going through her credentials and looking at her personal statement and her letter and her resume, boy, she certainly seemed to fit the part. And we called her in for an interview, and we had a very rough panel of mean and sinister looking folks. And when she left the room,
was she crying?
She was not.
Okay.
She handled it like a pro. But when she left the room, it was unanimous that we had found the right person for the job. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to our new Dwyer Program Coordinator, Cindy Reidy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why she was the right person. What was your background, Cindy?
I'm a Blue Star mother.
Okay, I'm a Blue Star dad.
That was one of the, you should join our group. We have a very good active Blue Star group in our county. And then I had some variety of things. I started as an advocate for mental health, working with children and families. I've done work with foster care and in the CPS field as a community services worker. I taught budgeting and nutrition with Cornell. Just some different things like that. So I just came from a lot of variations, and I had a lot of connections in the community.
So when you grew up, what did you want to be?
A music teacher. A music teacher.
So
I played violin.
Do you play that?
With Nina Karbaka from 4th grade all the way through my senior year.
Wow.
I need to do it again. It's one of those things that sits under my bed.
Absolutely. I'm an active musician, and I've been doing it for like forever.
I keep thinking, I'm going to get it out. I'm going to get it out. And I just
haven't
haven't
done it. When you go home today, please get your violin out.
Okay.
All right. I'll be your inspiration. In fact, if you don't, I'll announce it every week till you do.
What, you're going to do that? All
Did
right.
Cindy get the violin out?
Yeah.
So did
Drum
you
roll.
study music in school? I mean, college, or you didn't do the music
I just
teacher?
did business.
Business.
So.
Okay. And where'd you do that?
Just Jamestown Business College. So
Great.
And I worked at WCA, and then I was a stay-at-home mom. And
Which is a great job.
and babysat other people's kids. And so I was home with my kids until my youngest was 13, and then I re-entered the work field as an advocate, working with children's mental health. So kind of learned as I went, and that's a good program also. So, and then opportunities kept opening up, and I just felt I'm supposed to take that path, and I just kept moving forward.
Super.
And here I am.
Okay. So who wrote the grant, Greg?
Well, the grant has been established for quite a while, and it started out with one county in New York State, and then there's now 17 counties that have the grant. But of course, when Senator Young and Assemblyman Goodell heard about this, they wanted to bring it to Western New York because both of them are absolutely passionate
We
about
talked about
veterans.
passion.
Yep.
Yep.
And all of our elected officials in Chautauqua County, if you are a veteran or the family member of a veteran or the mother or father of a veteran and you live in Chautauqua County, you are very lucky, because I have not come across a legislator, a town mayor, a single representative that just isn't overwhelmingly gracious and there for our veterans. So it's a very good place to be a veteran here.
11,000 veterans, if I remember right.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take.
It's constantly changing.
Right.
So.
And that number, I'm still in awe of that number. When you think there's, 135,000 people in Chautauqua County, and there's 11,000 veterans, I mean, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. And I've been in the job for a little over 6 months now.
Right.
And the best part about the job is the living history we have here in the county. So every day I'll come across a veteran, and they'll come into the office for a benefit, and they might be a Korean War era or a World War II era veteran, and you'll look at their discharge papers and you'll see the things that are written on there, and you realize that you're talking to somebody who has been to places and done things that you read about in the history books, and their stories are fascinating and their stories are amazing, and you just gain all of this knowledge, and it makes you a great storyteller because you start blending all these things together because you can't remember exactly who told you what.
Is Greg still doing the Defenders of Freedom program, where they were videotaping the World War II veterans?
Yes,
Okay.
sure is. And he frequently sends out to our folks that are linked in the veteran community YouTube clips and other
Right.
things
I found
when they do that. So
interviewed
yeah.
by him in the crew down at
And he really does a lot for a lot of
If
people.
you see Greg, tell him, let me know if there's anything we can share about that program.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, and you're right. When you talk with the veterans, especially the World War II guys, and they'll say, yeah, I was in the Pacific and our ship did this or that, or my father will talk about, this. He couldn't go. He still regrets the fact that he couldn't go up the Eiffel Tower because it was booby trapped.
No.
But I mean, it was just all these crazy stories. And then you talk to the guys from Nam or Korea, and then their stories, you're like, you got to be kidding me. And then the things that I tell my son Scott, do not tell me, because then your mother will want to know, and then she'll be worried about you. So don't tell me anything. And then I find out through the grapevine what happened. So, all right, we digress though. I don't know anything about the Dwyer program. So what is the grant for, and what is it?
Well, I'll let our new 10 days on the job
10
expert
days.
talk about
I
that.
told her we'd be gentle on
Yeah,
her.
be kind.
Okay.
It's a peer-to-peer. That's what it's intended to be. Vets talking to vets, working through PTSD, TBI. It's non-clinical. So we're not therapists. That's not the job. And I'm not counseling anybody. It's vets talking to other vets. So I'm working on setting up social opportunities like maybe judo class, meditation class, a Bible study, anything a volunteer is willing to lead to help our vets, to bring them in, because everybody has different things that they're interested in. So our kickoff is July 16th.
Oh, wow.
Everybody make a note, July 16th at Bergman Park from 1 to 3. We have a band signed up, and hopefully offer family-friendly activities, get vets together, meeting other vets, and I can start introducing some of the activities we're going to get going. One of the other things that the other counties don't have going yet is a Wives Girlfriends program, because when our vets come home, the wives, they need support also. So as Blue Star Mothers, we're there for mothers of our military, but this is going to be another opportunity for the wives and the girlfriends.
Is
to be
this
able to get
for
together.
active?
For everybody.
I mean, for
It's
wives
for-
and girlfriends of active members or only veterans?
Well, it can be anybody, but the crux of the program is transitioning
Right.
veterans, helping people adapt to being back here in Chautauqua County.
Let me,
Right.
let me chat a little bit with you about wives and girlfriends. May I?
Sure.
Because I think it's, there's so many aspects of veterans' lives and active duty veteran service people's lives that people don't even think about. So when I was out for the last 3 weeks visiting and traveling, we spent a week with my oldest son, Scott. And as you know, he's Special Forces active duty. And we listened to his itinerary for the year. And I can't divulge that on the air, obviously, but it's like 6 months here, back for 3 weeks, go to training for a month, down somewhere not where he lives, then back home for 2 weeks, maybe for Christmas, and then deployed again for 6 months to another country. And that all sounds kind of cool if you're single, if you have no children, you have no home, and yet who keeps it all together?
Right.
The girlfriend or the wife, right? And so I got to give a shout out to my daughter-in-law, Louisa. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. So what kind of support do you see giving these folks?
Well, I'm going to leave it up to them what they want, but I'm going to start a support group. We're probably going to be somewhere in Faulkner. I've been working with Melody Palladino. She's the one that brought the idea to me. And we'll just start forming something and see where we take it. Maybe start with a paint night, get them together and have an opportunity just to get to know each other, if in the area, in the Chautauqua County area. And then we'll take it and see what they want to do. I mean, I can't tell them what they need. They need to tell me, and then I'll help them get there.
So it doesn't have to be like, let's sit around and talk about heavy-duty stuff.
Absolutely
It could be,
not.
let's just get to know each other.
Right. And fun. Let's paint.
Right.
Let's do something just and have a good time, but with like minds, with people that understand where they're coming from.
Okay, so you work with the veterans.
Sure.
And let's just separate for a minute, because you work with veterans also, but let's just separate these two groups. You got the veteran with the PTSD, and you got the wife or the girlfriend of the veteran or present active service person with PTSD. That's a big issue, isn't it, for those folks? It's tough
It's their
enough
life.
on the person that has it, but it's got to be just as hard as the person that has to live with that person.
Right.
What do you see with the spouse with the PTSD? Well, living with PTSD with the other person.
I think they need to understand it to begin with, and you're not going to learn that from a book like you are from another wife or girlfriend. Somebody that's been there, knows how to handle it, makes sure they get to the right services, the right treatment. And it just seems like the peer-to-peer works better for everything, whether it's vet-to-vet or wife-to-wife, whatever, that setup seems to be the best.
So, in my mind, I almost see that this could evolve into almost like AA, support group.
Right, that's what it's
My name
intended
is
to.
whatever, and my spouse has PTSD. And I'm struggling, and I don't know what to do.
Right.
Statewide, the reason that Dwyer has been so successful, and the reason we wanted to have it here, is it puts you in touch with people who can relate to your issues. And a little bit of a personal experience with that is, before I retired from the service, I knew I would deploy, so to improve the family situation, I moved them back home. And my wife would go to church and she would talk to her friends, and nobody here had anyone, or not very many people, had active duty husbands or wives that she could talk to. So they would be sitting around having coffee, and no insult to anybody's situation whatsoever, but they'd say, oh, my husband's going out of town on business for 3 days this week. 3 days this week, and don't know what I'm going to do. And of course, we're always sympathetic when families are split up, even for a short amount of time. But when you are the spouse of an active duty airman, soldier, sailor, marine, especially the last 15 years since 9/11, we've had this constant string of deployments. It's nice to be able to get with other people who've experienced that. And
Because they truly
understand
don't
that.
know what you're going through. They truly don't.
Right.
People say it, but you don't know.
And it's not because they don't mean to, they don't know any other
Right.
way. So putting people together in a non-clinical setting, and it's also a bridge. So we want to get people professional help, professional counseling, but sometimes that takes weeks or months.
Right, so baby step it.
And it gives them an opportunity to be with other folks who can relate to what they're doing without having to go through the bureaucracy of healthcare, whether it's their own private healthcare or the VA or whatever they're using. It's an informal way of helping people deal with any of the mental health issues that are associated with transitioning, PTSD, just depression for change of life. You go from being in this position where you're a soldier or you're a Marine, or you have this identity and this camaraderie, and now
You
you're
have
back in
rank,
town.
you have responsibility.
Exactly, and now you're back in town, and there's nothing wrong with being a part of the community, but sometimes it doesn't have the same luster that your service career did. So there's guys who struggle just with that transition.
Yeah.
You know, losing that identity that they've had for 4 to 30 years, depending on how long they served.
Okay, back to Cindy with the peer-to-peer, wife, girlfriend issues. And I don't want to dwell just on PTSD, but just for a moment, because this has been a kind of a pet concern of mine, is that I don't think that PTSD was in vogue for the World War II guys. They didn't talk about it. It didn't exist. This is like a new phenomenon. It's not, though. It's not. The Korean guys, they didn't talk about it. The Vietnam guys started talking about it, but nobody believed them. This is my read. I'm not saying this is fact. This is my read on watching my family members and friends that went through all this. And it wasn't until basically Iraq and Afghanistan where we really said, whoa, this is a real deal, because the science has improved and things like that. So where I'm going with this is, people that are listening right now, they say, I've been married 60 years to a World War II vet. Can I go to this?
Oh, absolutely. We want everybody.
Okay,
We want
because
everybody.
even though they didn't call it PTSD, they just call it anger, or he goes off by
Shell shock.
himself, shell shock or whatever.
Right.
So this is open for anybody that's been involved with
We
the
want
service.
everybody to come to our kickoff and see what we've got going on, because I'll have lots of things set up to be able to introduce to the community by then. And then I'll put my number up, you know, and put that, and anybody
Then
can
you're
call
going
me.
to send it to me so I can announce it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, now there's a group that we haven't talked about,
Okay,
the kids.
the kids, right.
What are we doing for kids? Anything?
That will be the next phase. Once we get our vets going, once we get the wives going.
That'd be a natural.
That will be, and hopefully that will be just a, you know, continuation from the Wives Girlfriends group. Yes, definitely. I would like to be able to do it all.
Okay, Greg, I know your office has been doing really good work before you, before everybody else has come and gone. Has there been any work in this area before?
Say that one more time.
One more time?
Okay.
Has there been any work done in the county out of your office that Cindy's going to be doing? In other words, is this a brand new thing?
It is a brand new thing to this area. Now, I don't want to take credit away from some of the folks in the area who've, on a smaller
Right.
scale, have done a lot for vets. There's a gentleman by the name of Lloyd Delahoy who is a service-connected veteran who really has done a lot for vets. But on a large scale like this, no, because our office is primarily dedicated to getting folks benefits. And that's really what we do. So this would be something that is such an awesome responsibility and is a job to itself, that until we had this grant, we haven't had the opportunity to really
Okay, so
attack something like that.
so this is, you're branching out and opportunities come through Kathy and Andy, and so grants sometimes are wonderful because they bring in funding and so forth. How long does this go for?
Well, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we are definitely funded through the end of next year. So we have all of 2017 and
Okay.
all of 2018.
Okay.
And the rumor on this street is we've got more coming. So.
Okay, now this is New York State only, or is it federal? What the funding?
So there are versions of this throughout, but this specifically is New York State. So that's not to say there's not variations in other states, but this grant, the Dwyer grant, as it pertains to New York State, is a state
Okay.
operation.
So to be respectful right now, who was Joseph Dwyer?
Joseph he served in Afghanistan, and there's a famous picture of him carrying a little boy. And he came back to his regular life and really, really struggled, and ended up taking his life because a lot of it was just getting through the red tape, getting the right connections,
Right.
and he died alone. So,
And
not
he's
because
from-
his
he's from New
family.
York State?
He was originally from New York State,
From our region or somewhere?
from more toward the city.
Okay. Okay.
And he was a combat medic.
Combat medic.
And saw a lot of things, and he fell through the cracks of the clinical piece, you know, waiting to see a counselor, waiting to get with the right people, you know, a missing piece of paperwork, whatever it is. So when they envisioned this program, it was to have something where you don't have to do all that. We can just put you in touch with another vet.
One stop, real fast.
In the heart of what we do, don't get me wrong, the events for recruitment and to put vets together is great, but the heart of what she's going to be doing is recruiting peer-to-peer mentors. So, and it could be any age, we might find a Vietnam veteran who's worked through stuff, who's a volunteer, and we come across another Vietnam vet who's struggling, and we say, hey, we have someone we want you to talk to. And we put them together, and very helpful.
Walk away.
So,
Let
yeah,
them go at it.
let them do
Right.
it.
Okay, one thing we have failed to do is, if somebody's watching, and I know veterans watch the show, I know this, all
Hope
right?
so.
If they're interested either being a peer trainer, a peer to be part of the program, a wife or whatever, how do they get hold of you?
They can call my office at 661-8447. Leave me a message. I'm in and out. I'm running all the time, but I definitely will get back to them right away. If they have any ideas, I'm willing to listen to any ideas. If they're willing to volunteer because they maybe are good at cooking and would like to have a cooking class that we can invite vets to, I'll find a place. We'll set it up. And so talents, anybody that has any ideas, talents, and wants to be one of my volunteer team Dwyer.
Okay.
Okay,
cool.
I've started a small database. I have about 10 volunteers, but Blue Star Mother, just people from different, Compeer is joined in. So I'm trying to connect with other agencies in the area, the suicide prevention team with Victoria Patty, and I'm going to be part of the Hope and Healing, and I'll have a table there. So just
You figured out the networking, haven't you?
Yeah. And then sometimes it's from the other jobs that I've had. I've been able to connect. So yeah, made a lot of connections, and I'm really hoping it grows and grows and grows.
Okay. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guests today are from the Chautauqua County Veteran Services. We've got Greg Carlson, who's the director of the program, and Cindy Reidy, who is the program coordinator for the Private First Class Joseph Dwyer Project. Did I get that all right?
Sounds
I didn't
great.
have that written down. Anyways, so if you have a question or a comment, give us a call at 753-5225 or give them a call, and we'll announce that number again before the end of the show. So please, if something's on your mind right now, give us a call. All right? Let's go back to Greg now. Greg, how about the elevator speech? You said you primarily work on benefits. I'm telling you right now that I will bet if I were to talk to 10 veterans, 9 of those veterans would not know all now. They know some, but not all the benefits that are available to them. True or false? You think that's true?
That is very true. Or if they do know them, they may misunderstand.
Right.
And the veteran service officers who do this every day, we don't know every benefit because laws are constantly changing.
Right.
And there's grants, and there are so many things. There's the VA, which is kind of our standard way of getting folks.
And we want to make it
healthcare.
clear that you don't work for Veterans Administration.
No.
I learned that lesson on my very first show with the veterans here.
Yeah.
Go, we don't work for them. We help veterans go to the VA.
Yeah, we help we help them navigate the VA. But we work in partnership with the VA. And,
Sure.
and you hear good, you hear bad, but I'll tell you this. The VA, through the things that they offer our veterans, have changed a lot of lives. So for all of the frustrations that veterans have with the VA, the things that they provide have been life-changing for
Most of the things I hear are
decades of
good in this area.
Yeah.
I know guys and gals that go up to Buffalo, and I know the folks that go to Erie, and generally it's been really positive. And I've visited both locations over the years, and it's pretty nice.
And New York State, separate from the VA, has some of its very own programs for veterans.
Okay.
The blind annuity is one example that I can think of. And that's one of those things where if somebody is vision impaired and they are a veteran and they are a New York State resident, come in and see us and we will help them with the application, and it's a little money in their pocket.
Every time you guys come on the show, I learn something new. It's the first time I've heard of the blind annuity. I did not know that one.
And also here, once again, thanks to our representatives, there is a grant to help service-connected disabled veterans make housing modifications to make their bathrooms more accessible.
Give some examples.
You know, so you have
rails
someone who maybe is in a wheelchair and needs to be able to navigate that wheelchair around a small bathroom. Well, they'll come in and they'll do some
Tear up the
heavy-duty
doorways.
cosmetic work and make it so that that person can function by themselves.
All right, so veterans are listening right now, and they say, okay, we need that. So how do they get to that?
Well, they can obviously call our office in Jamestown or in Dunkirk.
How about some numbers?
Make an appointment, 661-8255
That's James.
is our Jamestown number.
Jamestown. That's the bear.
Correct.
Mike Rao.
Mike, and you can get in touch with Carrie Finnerty. She's our superstar who does all of our burial benefits. Mike and I are both there. And I'm going to have to get back to you with the Dunkirk number because I don't have it off the top of my
Okay,
head.
that's
But
in the phone
Dunkirk-
book.
It is. It absolutely is.
Right. And
But
Dave's up there, right?
But if you really want
Yes.
the ultimate
Ultimate one-stop shop.
stop shop today, this afternoon from 10 o'clock to 2. You don't even have to wait.
Okay.
At Jamestown Community College, Student Union, they're having a Veterans Benefit Workshop. We have a young attorney who is a native of Chautauqua County, Christy Woodfield. Remember that name because she's going to do big things for us here in this county. But she is our veteran fellow, and she does free legal services for veterans. It's also a grant. She works with Law New York. But she's the one who coordinated this event. And you are going to have educational institutions. You are going to have folks like myself, veteran service officers. You're going to have the local service organizations like the Legion and the VFW. The New York State Department of Labor is going to have a veterans representative. You're going to have people to help enroll with health care. We're even going to have the veterans, the big mobile medical unit that the VA has come down from Buffalo. So the Vietnam era
That's
folks.
today?
That's today. That's today at JCC from 10 to 2. the
So
Student
in
Union.
13 and a half minutes, if you're
Yes.
watching and you're a veteran, shut off the TV, put on your good stuff, cologne,
Yeah.
jump in the car, and go to JCC.
Go to
Which
JCC,
building?
Student Union.
Student Union.
Yep. And they're going to...
Free parking.
It's a beautiful event because let's say you come in the office, there's not something I can directly help you with.
Okay.
You know, normally I would have to give you a number, you'd have to make an appointment, and you'd have to go to that person. You don't have to do that today. You just walk to the next booth, and you're going to talk to the very person that we would refer you out to. So, and there's more things that I can even remember. We're even going to have local employers who love to hire veterans.
Oh, absolutely.
And so if you're in the job hunt right now, and
Think
you're
about
a
the
veteran-
training you guys get.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much training. I mean, all jobs. Seems like service people are getting trained like every 6 months in something or more often than that. It's just unbelievable.
And it's not just military type things. They've
Yeah.
really embraced the professional development for folks. So leadership courses and systems engineering and decision making.
They're getting
and
degrees,
all these different
bachelor's and
things, yeah.
master's degrees and things like that.
They've really, because they realize it's a better way of doing business. You know, it's a better way of managing things, other than just brute force. Not that brute force is all bad towards veterans, but sometimes finesse is a better way to go. Also, May 13th, 2017, the Vietnam Veterans Association, the David L. Woodburn chapter, 978, is hosting a town hall meeting, and it's all about Agent Orange. And
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
okay, and they're going to be hosting that, the Frewsburg Post 556 American Legion on Meadow Lane. They're going to be hosting the event as far as location. And they're going to have a couple of expert PhD type speakers. And they're not just going to talk about the normal Agent Orange, the people who were exposed in Vietnam, but they're going to talk about the secondary and tertiary effects. So what they're finding is that if you are the child of a Vietnam veteran who has been exposed to dioxins or Agent Orange, I don't want to get into the science because I'm going to get it
So
wrong.
it could have been passed on.
It is in your DNA. It is in your DNA because the Agent Orange changed, and they are finding that birth defects and other issues are more prevalent in the direct descendants of folks who served in country Vietnam and were exposed to Agent Orange. Now, I am not the PhD type person who can speak about this in an expert manner, so come to Frewsburg on May 13th. If you think you may be affected, if you're the child, if you're the grandchild or the veteran or the wife of a veteran, and you think that this could possibly be you, and maybe you had an unexplained illness or a prevalence in your family of one particular thing, that this doesn't make sense because no one else has it, this very well could pertain to you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk from the other side of the fence now.
Okay.
So what? Let's say I was in Nam. I'm pretty sure that my group was sprayed with Agent Orange or we were exposed to it. I'm making this up now, breathing issues or skin rashes, and I've heard all these things. And so I got it. So what? I've been dealing with it. They told me, use this ointment, end the subject.
So, because of the work of the Vietnam veterans over the last 40 to 50 years, the ability to file a claim and have a diagnosis at any time, doesn't have to be in service. Okay, there's these presumptives for conditions. We can help them file a claim and get health care and compensation for the injury or illness that was caused by Agent Orange. And this was something that was very hard to get, and they had to fight for, and now is relatively, I don't want to say easy to get. Nothing in life is easy to get, but it's a lot more straightforward than it was.
I remember guys that said they think they were exposed to Agent Orange and nobody believed them. They had to take unbelievable amount of medical examinations, symptoms would come and go. They thought they were liars and all this stuff. So it sounds like they've made a lot of headway.
And you would think to yourself that, well, surely any Vietnam veteran would know about all this now, and they would know that the rules have changed.
No, they don't.
And I can tell you that Dave Adams, Mike Rao, and I see Vietnam-era veterans and in-country Vietnam veterans all the time that are just shocked. They're like, well, I've been dealing, well, I'll give an example, type 2 diabetes. They found that type 2 diabetes, you're 5 or 6 more times more likely to develop that if you were exposed to Agent Orange than the general population. So some of these folks will have developed diabetes in their 40s, 25 years ago. And
Never thought
just
anything of
now
it.
realize, wow, I didn't realize that this was a presumptive for Agent Orange and that I could be eligible for compensation and health care because of that. So there are so many things like that. So if you were in country Vietnam, even if you are a picture of health, I would come in and talk to your veteran service officer, enroll in VA health care, because if any of these things come up down the road and you're already in the system, it makes your transition so much easier.
Greg, this is exactly why this show has you guys on twice a year at least, because every time you guys come on, there's something new that my friends, veterans, did not know about. This is new information. Again, you told me new information about the vision and this. I listen a lot to people when they're talking, veterans and so forth, in various circles, and I'm sure that they don't get this. Now, here's a big question for you, and I don't want to put you on the spot because it's not a hard question, but it's a tough answer. 11,000 veterans in Chautauqua County. How do they know? How do you keep in touch with them? Is there an email? Is there a newsletter? Is there something that lets them know about all this stuff? I mean, we're doing our part here, but we're not reaching everybody. So, what can we do?
What works better than anything else is word of mouth.
Okay.
So one of the techniques that I use now when I meet with somebody, so let's say that a certain benefit doesn't apply to them. Like for our wartime veterans, aid and attendance for folks who are like looking to...
I know what aid and attendance is now.
Who are looking to live in assisted living. I might have someone who, let's say, is Korean War era and they're healthy and they're living on their own, and maybe they're just in VA healthcare and they get hearing aids, and they come in. I said, hey, I'm going to give you this information about aid and attendance. I'm going to tell you why, because I expect you to be healthy and live to be 110 and never need this, but you might have a friend who's struggling right now and thinking that their only option is to go on Medicaid and go into skilled nursing because they just can't afford to have some in-home care help or to live in a nice assisted living place in a safe environment where it's not nearly as difficult as it would be to live on their own because they don't know about this benefit, or they're paying out of pocket their life savings.
They don't have to do that.
They don't have to necessarily do that. It's a benefit they've earned by being a wartime veteran. So I tell everybody that comes into the office, even if it doesn't apply to them, it might someday, and tell your friends, and I've had more luck with that than any other advertisement or thing you can think of.
Okay. I had this thought and then it just left me. All right, it may come back. Part of what we also wanted to have you on the show for was to talk about upcoming Memorial Day types things in May. That's a month from now. And so is there anything you want to share that veterans should know about?
Well, not so much that veterans should know about, but if you think of Memorial Day is not really about veterans. It's about remembering those who have given their life serving our country and defending our country. And not just the veterans who died in action, but the veterans who died while serving, and the veterans who never were able to let the battle leave them, and maybe died after as consequences of the battle that they fought. So it's a time to remember veterans who paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to their country. And it's a great opportunity to support your community. So there's Memorial Day parades in just about every township, municipality throughout the county. Go out, bring your kids, remember the veterans. Remember, it's not just a long weekend where we're going to have picnics.
We forget about those things like most holidays after a while.
Although that's great. And then a very special event that's going to be on the Saturday before is an opportunity to recognize our Gold Star families.
Okay, and those are families that someone died in service.
Yes,
during
and
battle.
and when you think about, I'm sure you've heard the term "all gave some and some gave all," and you know this as a father, and she certainly knows this as a mother. There's nothing you love more than your child. I think it's the first time when you're up at night making sure they're still breathing when they're little babies is the first time you realize that there's something in your world that you love more than yourself. So when they talk about the ultimate sacrifice, it's not just the service member, but it is the family of that service member.
Just like we've been saying all along with everything else. Yeah.
Particularly the parents, you know, that is just not the way things are supposed to happen. The parents are supposed to go before the child.
Right.
So anytime we get an opportunity to recognize and be there for our Gold Star families, that's a great thing to be a part of. So that's also going on.
Okay, and
Memorial Day
please
weekend.
let us know anytime those kinds of events, and we'll be happy to share it. Okay, I got my thought that came back. I lost it for a second, and I grabbed it. Okay, so we've only got a few minutes left, but this is important. By definition, what is a veteran? And the reason why I ask that, because a lot of people say, well, I didn't serve in wartime, I was just stateside. That's a veteran? Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what do you need to prove that you're a veteran? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have never even come to you or asked for any services. What do they need to do?
Well, for benefits, there's this magical thing called the DD Form 214.
Okay.
And it is the thing that we use to get eligibility and access to benefits for
And that's your
all
discharge
veterans.
papers.
And that is your discharge papers.
Okay.
It was called something, the DD 214 wasn't developed until the 1950s, so World War II it was something slightly
Right,
different.
it's
but
green. I've seen my father's.
your discharge papers are, but that doesn't make you a veteran.
No.
But that's what we use to get you veterans benefits,
Okay.
because our National Guardsmen and our Air National Guardsmen and our reservists and those folks who wear the uniform and raise the right hand and take the same oath are also veterans. Even if their discharge papers don't grant them to the same benefits as our folks who served, 2, 4.
But there's
20,
something for
30.
everybody.
There is.
Okay, and just
Absolutely.
depending on categories and time of service and so forth.
But if you raise your right hand, you served, and you wore the uniform, you are a veteran.
Okay. And the same goes for your program? If you're a veteran's a veteran's a veteran, doesn't matter whether you were stateside all the time,
No.
stocking shelves, or if you were
Doesn't
in
matter.
harm's way. Okay.
Right.
And I make that point because there are people that serve that say, well, all I did was this. And it's like, no, you supported the cause,
One quick thing on that. So if someone has an other than honorable discharge, they may not be eligible for VA benefits, but they're certainly eligible for peer-to-peer support through the Dwyer program.
Right.
So we
Maybe
don't,
more so.
we're not going to turn
I'm not
someone
asking
away.
for proof.
Yeah.
I don't want.
We're not going to turn someone away because their discharge papers don't say exactly what we need it to. And that's what's beautiful about Dwyer. It is not clinical, it's not official, so to speak.
Right.
It is an informal way of putting vets on other
Perfect.
vets.
Cindy Reidy, you're the brand new coordinator of this Dwyer project. What's a phone number that people can get a hold of you?
661-8447.
And the purpose of the project is?
Vets to vets, peer support.
And for wives, for the veterans, everybody, right?
I'm gonna make
And you've got a big event coming up when?
July 16th from 1 to 3 at Bergman Park in Jamestown.
And we're going to talk about that some more because you're going to send me the information.
Yeah.
Greg, how do veterans get a hold of you now?
716-661-8255. That is our office number, and we can put you in contact with us or whoever we need to talk to.
And today at 10 o'clock, in like 1 minute from now, what's going to happen?
Go to JCC, come out, and check out everything that the vets have to offer. And it's going to be a great event, and there's going to be food and people and resources and a really nice event.
Okay. Real quick question, last one of the day. On a scale of 1 to 100, what percentage of veterans are underserved in Chautauqua County because they don't come out?
I would say,
Best guess.
I would say 50.
That's a lot.
And I think it's not just that they're underserved, is that they think that they shouldn't get it because I didn't, like you said, I wasn't in
Didn't deserve
Iraq
it,
or
didn't we?
Afghanistan.
Okay, folks, there you go. Veterans, my good friends that have served our nation honorably, please, please, please check out these guys. Go out to the programs, get the services that you deserve. check out Cindy's program when it becomes available. Do something good for yourselves and for your families. I'm Doc Hamels. I'm so glad you joined us today. We're going to do this all again, starting next Saturday again. For the whole month of May, we've got great people coming on. We'll see you then. Take care. Have a great weekend. Stay dry. Bye now.